This current Faze situation is a story of underage girls, allegations being made, gaslighting your audience into them believing that you couldn't have done any wrongdoing, to then later come out and admit to your wrongdoing. This is an absolute whirlwind of a shitstorm, and it summarizes where social media influencers are currently at when they seem to kind of get this position of power. They seem to think that because they have a following, because they've got money, they're able to get away with stuff. A lot of people are stating that, the people involved aren't necessarily at fault, but at the end of the day, there is wrongdoing that has happened. So, in case you've been living under a rock for the past 24 hours, the FaZe Clan has come under some significant fire for underage sex, essentially, right? Or at least one of the members has. So, let me kind of rewind the clock a little bit. If you don't know who the FaZe Clan are, the FaZe Clan are essentially a group of, gamers to begin with. And they were starting out on Call of Duty, and then as the years went on, they kind of progressed into their own things, and the FaZe Clan has become a lot bigger than that of just gaming. But there's been significant controversies with a lot of the members of the FaZe Clan as of late, and the most recent one is by far the most damning that we've had in a very, very long time. So, it all started back earlier in September, when FaZe Rain, who is one of the FaZe members, of course, exposed FaZe Temperrr, who allegedly admitted to being with two 16-year-olds, and then says that Banks lied in his response. Now, FaZe Banks, of course, is like one of the leaders of the FaZe Clan. Take a little listen to this.
It breaks my fucking heart. This dude looks me in my eyes and says, bro, I'm not going to lie. I had a threesome with two 16-year-olds. I'm like, bro, what? Like, how could you tell me that? It breaks.
Obviously, those are some very significant allegations, right? And it kind of goes on a little bit deeper here, as Banks allegedly lied about the situation as well.
I'm not going to be on a team with a pedophile. I'm not going to be on a team with a pedophile. I just refuse to. You know what I mean? He has to own up to that shit. I'm not even saying publicly, but within us. And just be 100, bro. Just be like, bro. And he did admit to it on the call, by the way. This is what he said. When I texted Banks about it, and he said, okay, let's all get in a call right now. This is serious, right? Even though, like, you've been known. Me, Tommy, Banks, Apex on a call. My boy Wes sent me screenshots because I was texting him immediately. October 7th, I guess it was, last year is when we all got on a call together. The last time we all talked together. And we all get on the phone. Banks is acting like it's news to him. But again, he can deny it all he wants. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's just, he knew. He knew. And they try to say, like, maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe I wasn't listening. Cap. I don't care. You knew. And I know you knew.
Obviously, very significant allegations. Now, this literally just kind of came out of the blue in one of the streams, okay? And it led to an entire shitstorm that then later ensued. So, obviously, these allegations were then made. And FaZe Temperrr, after this, dropped a statement where he basically gaslit the situation into people believing that this was just all a lie. This is what he had to state. Yesterday, I watched someone I once called a brother go online, call me a paedophile, and laugh about it. Today, I was cut off the roster. I've given my heart and soul to this brand for 15 plus years, and then one of the people I built it with attaches my name to the most foul, untrue word imaginable. That moment overshadowed everything I'd sacrificed and caused real damage to me and my family. Watching someone I once trusted turn something that serious into entertainment is evil. This isn't content. These lies have real consequences for me, my family, and my son. And instead of a call or a text, I was just cut off the roster today. No conversation, nothing from the people that I stood beside for over a decade. I made a lot of mistakes growing up, said some dumb shit, was a mess in a lot of ways. But when I met my wife, and especially when I found out my son was on the way, everything changed. I knew I had put my growth into overdrive, so he'd carry the same burdens. My mission is to give him good habits, love, and strength, so he can live a beautiful life. This lie doesn't just hurt me, it hurts my family, and most of all, my son. I'll fight every day to make sure he grows up knowing the truth. Obviously, he's there vehemently denying the allegations that have been lodged against him, right? So, that's quite significant. It's quite a big deal. And he's basically saying, you know, don't associate me to this. And he then went on to a video, or onto a stream, and stated this with the title, "I am disgusted."
The fact that I'm even having to respond to this, and to that my name is in the same breath as the word pedophile, is so sick, twisted, and insane. This is disgusting. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not that type of person. I am the furthest thing from what you called me. And I will never be that person. It's so mind-blowing that someone that I really built a brotherhood with, someone that I really considered a brother, that I invited to my baby shower, that I always looked after and took care. And then when you were going through your darkest days, I was there for you and I was making sure that you were good. When you were in a wheelchair for 2 years, and like I was so gutted at the fact that like you couldn't walk again. And then all of a sudden you were able to walk again. And I was the happiest person in the room. There wasn't a single soul that was happier for you than me. Brother, I have known you since you were 14 years old, talking to me about when you were suicidal in these Skype chats, and I was there for you then. And I've been there for you this whole time. You talked about how I rated you the other day, even though when you first brought this up a year ago, and I believe that you brought it up just for money purposes, that you wanted money out of FaZe. Like you stated that a year ago in the conversation with me, Banks and Apex. You stated if you don't get paid that, you're going to air this out. That is blackmail. This is not like, you know who I am. You know the type of person I am. I am not what you called me. I'm fucking gutted, bro, and I'm pissed that you even put my name in that light, because now all I care about is my family, bro. Like my biggest concern is my family, my wife, and my kid. Now my kid has to grow up and see this, and see that his father is in the same, that my name is in the same light as what you just called me. It's fucking sick. When I bring my son to school, right, and the other parents get to figure out who his dad is, and now they're associating me with that word. You don't even understand the levels of damage that you just inflicted into my life, into my family's life, into everything that I built. I have put my heart and my soul into FaZe Clan in ways that you and Banks and Apex know more than anybody. I brought you guys on because you guys deserved it, and I felt like you deserved it, and I broke bread with you completely. Split the company with you. And made sure that you were good. And even at times where like you were trashing the company, I still stood out for you, and I still said he should still get paid. And I was looking out for you, you know? And I wanted you, and even throughout all this stuff, like in a way, I wanted you back in, even though you said this. And that just goes to show you my heart. You know, I'm disgusted by your actions, by the person you've become. You haven't always been this way. You're a really nice kid. I don't know what happened, what got into you.
Obviously, complete deflection, complete gaslighting into basically stating complete innocence. Now, those are some strong terms for me to be using, right? Gaslighting and deflection. But what he admits to later on completely 180s this entire sentiment, and it's kind of messed up. Now, it got to the point where FaZe Rain, who made the initial allegations, dropped a 4-minute apology video after accusing Temperrr of actually being what he claimed for him to be, which was, of course, a paedophile, right? So here's what we've got from FaZe Rain.
So I just got off a 4-hour call with Emma, which is Tommy's wife and his the mother of his child, and she was so cool, so rational, so understanding. She was just, pouring her heart out to me, venting and talking about how this has affected her life, And that's what a lot of people tend to forget, is how much these things affect people's real lives. I know it's just Twitter to you guys. You're just weighing in on an opinion. You type some shit, you move on, you type some other shit on a different thing. But it really does affect these people's lives, bro, especially when it's something this sensitive, So please keep that in mind. But I do want to say this. I want to first and foremost retract the statement that I called him a pedophile, because that wasn't fair to do. By the way, I wiped my fucking camera. I don't know what the fuck is still happening. Okay? I wiped my fucking camera. I don't know what's happening. But it's not fair to label somebody as a pedophile, especially when they supposedly did not know this girl's age. I've known Tommy for 15 years. It's not like he ever went around preying on young girls or telling me he likes young girls or any of these things. So that's why I was such a shock when he told me what he told me. He just never told me that he didn't know their ages. If he did, it'd be a whole different story. It'd be a whole different story if he didn't know their ages, right? And I never would have felt as deep about it as I did. And I never would have wanted him to step down in 2023 if he didn't know their ages. I thought he did know their ages. And then even when we talked about it after, he didn't say he didn't know their ages. And I don't know why. Sometimes, and also, I've known him, and then also with Emma bringing it up, he just sometimes sells the fucking bag. He just sells the bag when it comes to delivering all the right information. You know what I mean? He doesn't say it all the right way. You know, maybe he was frantic and just didn't know what to say or do, so he just withheld that information, which I don't think he realized would have not made me look at him in that light if he was truly ignorant to the fact that they were under 18. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he knew that, it would be a whole different story. If I knew that, it would be a whole different story. So I do apologize for that. I do want to retract that label because that label is so evil. We all agree there's no room for pedophiles in our world, but there is room for somebody that had no fucking idea and they were latching from a girl who snuck into a club that was 21 plus and got with a guy who was older, not known. You know what I'm saying? But I also don't know how hookup culture works. I don't know if you guys, every time you guys hook up with a girl at a club, you fucking check their ID. I don't know. I don't drink alcohol. Never hooked up with a drunk chick that wasn't my girlfriend, so I don't know. Okay? I have no idea how that shit works. I don't know what the customs are. So that's a whole different conversation, but I do want to apologize for that. I will take full accountability. If you guys want to project blame on anybody, you can, of course, put it on me. I'm totally cool with that. I always am. Does not affect my life. It's cool. I'm a strong guy. I can figure it out. It's cool. But I do feel so fucking horrible for that. And not for myself. When I tweeted saying I feel horrible, it was not for myself. It's for everybody involved. Obviously, like, people try to act like I'm trying to make it about myself. So I'm going to take a couple seconds to talk about that. Brother, I do not want this fucking game. I have slept a total of like 6 hours in the last 2 days. I've eaten nothing for the last 2 days. Nothing. This is not easy on me in any way, shape, or form. I'm not sitting here happy as fuck about... This sucks, bro. This fucking sucks. Okay? It's not what I want to fucking hear. It's not what I want to fucking deal with. And yeah, I brought it to the internet, but I didn't know what to do, bro. And I'm hearing every opinion. Some people are applauding me for bringing it up. Some people are saying, why'd you wait 2 years to bring it up? And then some people are saying I'm a fucking L friend for bringing it up. Like I told you guys yesterday, I had 3 rules, and I believed he broke one of those rules. But if he was ignorant to that, of course he didn't break that rule because he had no fucking idea. And again, he does not go preying on young women. So to even call him a pedophile to that degree is not fair. Does it stem from what I initially said? Yeah. But honestly, the first day I even brought it up and I didn't say who it was, I deleted everything from that stream. I was going to dodge stream for 2 weeks. I swear to God, you can be mad at me for that if you want. I was going to dodge stream for like 2 weeks and not go live. Because I just felt so fucking bad, bro. I just felt so fucking bad. Then I woke up. Feared Buck posted a tweet about it. Banks made a statement about it, essentially confirming that it was Temperrr who I was talking about. And then my fucking hand was forced and I had to. But again, it's my fault that happened. I can't even blame Fear Buck for that because he wouldn't have had a tweet if I never said nothing, right? So it's my fault. But it just sucks, man. It just truly sucks. I really, truly thought I was doing something good. And I thought I'd get this weight off my chest. Instead, I added a fucking 500-pound vest. So it is what it is. I'm sorry to every single person involved. I hope you guys can realize how much this affects people's real lives. Just please, if you still want to just get your little internet troll out, just get it out on me, bro. I promise I can take it. I fucking love you guys. Anybody that had my back, even Tommy's back, whoever, just like anybody that's trying to preach love and preach positivity throughout all this, you're a fucking real one, bro. You're exactly what this world needs. So I fucking love you guys, and I'm just sorry for everything, man.
Now, obviously there is the admittance that what happened or what he was accused of did actually happen. And of course, the narrative, okay, is that he was unaware of the situation. Now, yeah, I will play devil's advocate on this one and say, you know, there's a possibility that he didn't know. But at the same time, that is an incredible alibi. And it's one that we've seen from a lot of people in the past who were like, oh, I just had no idea that she was underage when I slept with her. And this is why I feel so cynical towards this situation, because it's a very, very easy ploy to play when you're being faced with such serious allegations to kind of save face. Nobody wants to be labelled a PDF file at all. Nobody, right? And you maybe it's wrong to label him that, but at the same time, what happened did actually happen, and he admitted to that. He admitted to that in this video right here.
This is the last time I'm going to speak of this. My private life is being aired out for public entertainment, and I'm being forced into an impossible situation. So now, one day, my children are going to see this video, and they're going to know about, you know, sexual experiences and the type of person that I was before I met their mother. And let's just start at the top. So a lot of what Norton was saying of the type of person that I was is true. Not all of it. I was a reckless kid. I was very misguided. I was in and out of relationships. And I didn't know any better, right? And so one day, I met Emma, and Emma was the love of my life. Like this, I fell in love with this girl. And I wanted to marry this girl, and I never had wanted to marry anybody before that. I never wanted to get married. And I was just blown away. So this is the girl that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. But because of all the baggage that I had and all the shit that I went through and just the person that I was, I pushed her away. You know, she did not want to be with me, and she ended things, and that broke me and sent me into a dark, dark place. Soon after that, I was just that lost soul again, going to parties, partying, and just being a fool. And then one day I go to New York, and I go to this club that's 21 plus, and I link up with a buddy there, and he invites a couple girls, and I end up going back with these girls. We're all shit-faced, and I end up going back with these girls to my hotel room. I slept with one of them, and I found out after that this girl was 17. And that's the age of consent in New York. But regardless, I was sick to my stomach. It was just extremely uncomfortable knowing that and thinking about the situation. And that was it. And so shortly after that, or however long after that, Emma and I got back together, and you know, I was fully working on myself and becoming a better man and doing what I have to do to heal myself and heal like all the trauma that I had, and just work on myself on being a better man. And you know, not too long after that, I proposed. And a few months later, we found out she's pregnant, and now I realize I have a child on the way, so I have to put my self-growth in overdrive, because my child does not deserve to live a life where he picks up the bad habits that I had growing up. And so the last few years of my life have been on super fixated on just becoming a better man, husband, and father. That's been my number one focus, and it's something that I needed for myself. And you know, I wish that I started earlier. I wish that I didn't put the love of my life through all the things that I put her through, and you know, and that was it. And so this allegation of me being called a pedophile is fucking insane. Anybody that knows me knows I am not a pedophile or even anything close to that, including Norton himself. So I just, this is something that is going to follow me around forever. And it's just sick, because people on the internet will take things and twist it into something that it isn't, and just keep running with it. And now I just have to deal with the repercussions, you know? And so that's the unfortunate part about this reality. But that's it. I mean, there was nothing else to it than that. And yeah.
Now, there is a part of me that feels somewhat bad for him, all right? Because ultimately, you know, yes, he's been labelled as something. Yes, it was legal by age of consent, all right? What the interaction was completely legal. But the question, of course, then comes in is legality versus morality. Again, he's claiming that, you know, the girl, by his assumption, was of, like, you know, over 21 because they're in an over 21 nightclub. The issue here, and the issue why I've been so cynical coming into this, is because we've heard all of this before with high notable influencers, right, who have these positions of power. Dr. Disrespect only last year. We've had many others prior to this as well, where we've heard about these huge influencers who will, you know, sleep with underage girls or whatever, then get caught out and then suddenly claim that, you know, I wasn't aware. You know, I didn't know that she was only 17 at the time. This is where my cynicism comes in, because I feel kind of bad for being cynical, because ultimately, you know, this guy's got a family. I know what that's like. That's going to be a really hard thing to have to try and explain to your son when he ultimately gets old enough to understand what's going on here. But I'm conflicted. And yes, I stand by what I said before, where, you know, no, you may not necessarily be a paedophile, but at the same time, something happened which will be frowned upon on the internet. And to then kind of like be like, you know, you kind of nuanced on that singularity there. That video obviously came out after, where, like, clearly there's been some time to reflect, and I respect the video coming out because, you know, he's, instead of being like, oh no, that's not me, I didn't do anything wrong, he's like, well, actually, something did happen. This is the situation, and context is key. But at the same time, there's a bit of cynicism on my side as well. Now, off the back of all of this going on, the FaZe Clan released their roster, alright? And the roster now no longer includes FaZe Temperrr after everything that's gone on. So, we the boys want to make it clear to everyone that this list is FaZe. Anybody outside of this list is not associated with FaZe in any way. And as you can see, obviously, FaZe Temperrr is no longer there. All other former FaZe members have no current affiliation with the group. Now, obviously, this again adds more fuel to the fire. FaZe are obviously just trying to cover their asses, right? They don't want to be associated with this because this is going to tank their stocks. But these guys were well aware about this prior to any of this going on, right? So, like, they were aware of this last year. A year ago, to like this month. September of 2024 is when they said that this first all came out. If there was no wrongdoing, and this is me with my cynical hat on again, if there was no wrongdoing, why is he not part of the roster anymore? I don't know. Obviously, I'm going to throw that one up in the air. Now, the ultimate question is, and the question on everyone's lips, are there going to be legal consequences for this? Well, no. Because ultimately, the legal age of consent over in New York is, I believe it was 16 or 17. He said, you know, it was completely consensual, it was legal. So he's not going to face legal repercussions off the back of this. And right now, there are no legal consequences stemming from these recent allegations. But the court of public opinion can sometimes be a hell of a lot worse than that of an actual court. Because careers can be made and broken online, of course, as we all know. What do you guys think about this? If you think that I'm being too cynical on this situation, tell me in the comments. I'm genuinely curious, because I feel like I'm sick and tired of seeing people of influence, of, you know, high notable status, instantly just, like, suddenly becoming these people. And it's horrible. It's horrible, because there's no space and room for that, like, at all. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump to get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.